Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, do you know when, like, in this county, it's a huge issue with finding doctors and dentists and pediatrics, especially for me that take Oregon Health Plan. If that's going to change at all? 'Cause
Yes.
That's a huge barrier of school.
There are the health availability and affordability and access to health care is going to be big on the legislature's agenda. I think the fact that we in the richest nation in the world have as many people uninsured as we do is a shocking, shameful statistic that we all ought to be committed to try to change. And the fact that we have as many kids uninsured as we do is just abominable. Where you could have, if we had a thin layer of preventative medicine all over everybody, that way the sniffles don't turn into pneumonia and somebody is presenting at an ER door with what could have been taken care of so much less expensively if we had some fundamental basic health care. And for some of us, the commitment to just access to preventative primary care is about the most important thing I can think of. Over time, we've added so many mandates to insurance that for those people that are insured, they have very rich menus of opportunities. But it leaves a whole lot of other people out in the cold. And I wouldn't even mind looking at, can you scale some of this down and spread the veneer of primary preventative coverage over more people? In the end run, we save ourselves money, because if you take your sick kids to the hospital emergency room, that is the single most expensive point of entry into the healthcare system. And all the rest of us that have the blessing of insurance end up paying for it. So why not figure out how to avoid that hidden cost shift and pay for your kids to be able to have primary preventative health care right from the get-go? So yes, that will be a big
on the Oregon Health Plan. Will that help all children in Oregon be covered? Because like where the income guidelines are at, my husband and myself, with just him working with 3 kids, and our kids fall above, we don't get any help at all whatsoever from the Oregon Health Plan for insurance wise. So basically it's a cash pay system. My kids go to the doctor when they absolutely have to.
Yeah. And it ends up, and I don't say this in a pejorative way, but your situation is representative of what is called the working poor.
Blue collar, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you work like dogs, and you still are falling behind all the time. I can't tell you the details right now because I don't know the details. But last session, we passed a bill called Senate Bill 329 that was a restructure. It set up a group of people that's headed up by a very capable guy from Medford named Bill Thorndike to really look at how we do healthcare delivery in this state. And they are coming out with a number of recommendations. One of the recommendations that you will hear is called a provider tax. It is not as bad as it sounds. I already had somebody call and say, don't tax the guys that are doing it. But the point is that we have left a lot of federal money on the table. This is an enormously complex area. But Oregon is a net donor state in terms of the amount of money that we should be getting back from the federal government. So for human services kinds of programs. So that task force has been working busily all summer. They have just produced their first set of recommendations. I'm not exactly sure where the funding will come from, but I know it is a priority of the governors. I know it is a priority of many of my colleagues in the legislature. It is a priority of mine. We ought to have that safety net of insurance so that you're not getting up every morning one catastrophic illness away from economic Armageddon.
Seriously, it's a huge thing that I worry about because I do have kids that play sports. What if one of them breaks their leg?
You lose the house. I mean, that's...
Right. We can't even afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we rent.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do? Do I rob Peter to pay Paul, you know, to get my kid care? Or do I wrap him in an ace bandage and send him off to school?
Yeah. No, you have described exactly what hundreds of thousands of Oregonians are facing. And we as policymakers and lawmakers need to change that situation.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. How much, wait, I gotta check with the minders. How much time do we have?
You still have about, about almost 20 minutes.
Oh, far out. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was going until 9:15. Is that what you wanted?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
So
then you have
if we're
5
running
minutes.
ahead of schedule.
5 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, addition to caring for our children, which is extremely important, we also have a major problem with the upcoming baby boomers. They are underinsured, and right now they do not qualify for the Oregon Health Plan. Is there a plan coming up to assist the baby boomers who cannot get insurance, and they also are not eligible for the Oregon Health Plan anymore because they were cut out a few years back?
Yeah, the health plan's fundamental premise never came to be, and that was a stable, reliable funding source holding up the health plan. And so that essential element of the health plan caused the health plan to actually fail. And it was in 2001 and 2003 that the legislature knocked so many people off, and did it really in a pretty crummy way.
Basically, they sent you a letter, said this is your ending date,
Yes.
Yeah.
period, the end.
Yeah, and then moved the ending date, so once we'd scared you, then we moved the ending date, and then we kicked you off again. So we really did a pretty crappy job. Again, I don't know the details. I would say, regrettably, that the coverage focus right now is on kids.
Right.
And this may be an apple that we'll have to eat in a lot of bites, rather than being able to come in and just magically fix it. But I've heard your concern. I don't know how to respond to it because I don't know the details, but I would say kids are at the front of the line. Before we do another one, let's take one from somebody who hasn't asked one. Yes, ma'am?
Did you have fun doing the Free Willy stuff that you did?
Actually, I didn't fly on that one. The most famous person I ever, not person, the most notable figure I ever flew personally was Benji. Benji the dog, and I was absolutely crushed to find out that there wasn't just one Benji, there are 3 Benjis. The Benji is so, and that's now probably in Benji heaven. But the movie that I was Benji's personal pilot on is called Benji the Hunted. So, well, cool. I was the pilot on Benji the Hunted, and have lots and lots of funny stories about Benji the Hunted. The 2 eagles in Benji the Hunted weren't really eagles; they were painted to look like eagles. And when they let him out of the cage in the gorge, because they had been domesticated, they were so fat that they couldn't fly. He chased those eagles one afternoon for I don't know how long, but Benji the Hunted, I'm Benji's pilot now. I saw the little yellow card come up. I stupidly scampered out of the house this morning without my purse, so I'm going to give you my telephone number. If there's anything that I can do for any of you, even though I've now confessed to screwing one up pretty badly this morning, I generally don't do that. But if I can be useful to any of you, my name is Betsy Johnson, and my telephone number is 503-543-4046. That's my interim number because we're not back in Salem until January of 06. I mean of 09.
Pardon me, can you say that again, please?
My interim number is 503-543-4046, and my Salem number, once we start, is 98. God, I haven't held a piece of chalk since 3rd grade. 986-1716. And in the meantime, I applaud you all for being here. Very, very, very best wishes. Thank you, Pat and Karen and AAUW, for including me. This is an exciting thing to do. I drove up specifically from Scappoose to tell you guys, go do it.